This morning, we are taking a pause from the hustle to focus on something that touches way more lives than we realize, yet it really isn't talked about nearly enough. Every 18 minutes in the U.S., someone experiences a brain aneurysm rupture, and it can change everything in a heartbeat. On October 25th, people across Louisville will gather at Waterfront Park, not just to walk or run, but to remember, honor, and fight for awareness and research through the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. And today, we are honored to share two powerful voices. We have Karen Edwards, who is a survivor who's turned her experience into a mission, and Dr. Josh Abacus, who is helping write a new future for patients and families facing this diagnosis. Thank you so much for coming on the set today.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
So we've heard about brain aneurysms, and I've heard about it several times. I'm sure our viewers have too. But if you have never, had one, if you've never kind of met someone who's had one, really though, what is it?
Right, so a brain aneurysm is sort of like a weakened point on a blood vessel that's inside the brain. So the same way that you can get a hernia, where your abdominal wall weakens and things can kind of outpouch, the same thing can happen on your blood vessels on the inside of your brain. They can burst, and when they do, it's a life-threatening condition. And sometimes we find them before they've burst, in an unruptured fashion.
I mentioned every 18 minutes someone experiences a brain aneurysm, so these are actually pretty common.
Yeah, we say 1 in 50, and it used to be thought that they were more rare, but we're finding them more and more. Nowadays people have headaches, they go get an MRI, you get in a car accident, you get a big scan. So it's fortunate when we can find them before they've bled, because we can, potentially intervene to prevent a rupture, but they are more common than we initially thought.
Yeah, and what happens when one ruptures?
When an aneurysm ruptures, you get that rush of arterial pressure up in the brain, which can be life-threatening. So about a third of the time, patients die on the spot. A third of the time, patients make it to the hospital and do poorly, and only about a third of the time do patients make it to the hospital and have a good outcome. Obviously, calling 911, time is critical. Getting to a place where aneurysms are treated is really the most important thing at that stage.
Yeah, well, hearing that and now seeing you being a survivor, you're 1/3 of that, what he said, that is so scary. So could you share a little bit about your story?
Yes, I'm 100% blessed and one of the lucky ones. I had an active headache for a few days, and then I was on my way to on my way to town and stopped at my girlfriend's house. And I've always said from the beginning, it was just God leading me down a path to have someone there to help me, because if you're by yourself, you can imagine you're...
Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. Well, so I was at her house for 10 minutes, and I knew something was wrong, and then my legs went numb, and I had just a massive pain in my headache, and that was the last thing I remember for a couple of months. So yeah,
gosh.
Time was, and thankfully, my girlfriend Michelle, she's in the medical field, and she really advocated for me to get not only to the hospital, but to a hospital that was able to help me.
Wow, I mean, time is of the essence. Like when something happens, it was just a blessing that you were at your friend's house and she could just jump into action. And so why is this so important to raise awareness about brain aneurysms and having the first ever Louisville walk and run in the next couple of weeks?
Well, for me, it's just, since I am a survivor, I want to give back to the community of the brain aneurysm, because, people don't know about it. And if I had known that day, even prior to that day, maybe I could have saved myself of having a rupture, because my father passed away from a brain aneurysm. There is a link to that also. So there's just a lot of things that we just don't know because we don't have enough brain aneurysm awareness. And I'm just so proud to be a person who can help those who don't have a voice. And if we can save one life, I mean, it's totally worth it. And so the Brain Aneurysm Foundation is a wonderful foundation. They do a tremendous amount of work as far as getting grants to help with different techniques of how to treat the aneurysm. That's probably where you can help me.
Right. We have a grant at University of Louisville that I'm spearheading, looking at ways of studying the flow inside an aneurysm to determine which ones are higher risk versus lower risk. And that's just one of, many things that they do. In addition to this walk, 5K, a week from Saturday, it's just raising money and awareness. They're a real big advocate for helping patients with aneurysms.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for coming on today. I hope it's such a great turnout, and we keep moving to fund that research and really make this aware for people. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So again, if you're interested in learning more, you can just go to the website on your screen, bafound.org, to learn more.